I think I was eating better out in Idaho City when I was able to cook with my propane stove compared to like Boise or any city. All right, because I can freely cook, I could freely boil. The choices were limited in Idaho City, but I could still um, have the types of foods that are a little more rewarding to eat than the stuff that you have to accept in the bigger city that where you can't cook it. Like I was going between cooking potatoes, all right, and cooking grains whenever I felt like. Sometimes I didn't feel like cooking grains, and that works. But sometimes I'd cook the grain like oats and whatever else is in there, wheat, I think. And it's like a different experience with food. I cook between cooking and eating it from just a straight soaking, like soaking in milk or something. I enjoyed having that variety. I'm stuck with just having to deal with just soaking the grains, and I do desire to have a little cooked grains from now and again. All right, I mean I was able to eat pork, which is nice. There's really no substitute for pork when you're not able to cook in the city. All right, there's no way. There's not much of a substitute for eggs either. Although they do sell those eggs, hard-boiled eggs at the store sometimes. That's pretty nice. But I like to have eggs every so often. I like to be able to cook potatoes too. These dehydrated potatoes, they don't compare at all. They're horrible. They're really bad. They do things to my gut that cooking regular potatoes doesn't. All right, so that's a bad experience. I couldn't even get chicken in Idaho City. I got it from the food bank. I was able to cook chicken breasts that one time, but that's fine. Having a limited diet. I mean, I had nuts and I bought more nuts that I had to pour water on them to get the salt off. They didn't have reduced salt, so I soaked nuts in water and then that was to remove the salt, and then they're good to eat. They sold peanut butter, and for the first week or two, I was eating that peanut butter that was really adversely affecting my liver. So I finally stopped that, and my liver improved at that point. It was really giving me tightness issues and stuff. There's a chemical in that peanut butter. It could be very well the fats, the trans fats that are adversely affecting my liver, and that will essentially affect your heart too. If your liver is already clogged from that trans fats, then that fat's just going to be getting ejected into your veins and stuck in there, and then eventually, it leads to heart attacks and stuff. But it has to pass through that liver, and if the liver can't handle it, then that's it. And I was eating that, but then I switched to nuts because it's giving me problems. But I really miss being able to cook. All right, I was able to just sit out and relax and just let the propane go. But if I did that here in the parking lot, I'd get kicked out of Walmart. It's the parks. They don't let you cook. There's a trail over yonder. It has a no cooking sign, and I get the impression that people are stupid. In fact, in Idaho City, I was cooking with a propane stove at the cowboy camp, and this dumb manager came up and said, "You're not allowed to do that." And there's no restrictions on propane. Propane is a lot different than a campfire, but there's people that will confuse that, and I'm afraid of getting into that kind of trouble in the city. All right, so it's really tough to, even in small towns. It's just there's so much private property around, it's really hard to get around it. But cooking is does make a difference in your life.